It's just absolutely incredible. But one of the things I'm really walking away from this week with is the idea, and I point this somewhat at the Giants, but really baseball as a whole, and maybe even sports as a whole. I was thinking about this. A presence like Willie Mays, someone who is not just that great, but the way that he worked his way into people's homes and into people's hearts, this legendary sort of figure. Now sports is so data-driven, and there's so many camera angles, and there's so much social media and distraction and all the things that we know, and the yellow line and the box behind the plate. We know so much information so fast that I think it sort of starts to take away from the majesty of the great player. And I wonder if what we're doing right now with Willie Mays, and there are others, right? There are others from that generation. But will it be like this ever again? Will players of today, 50 years from now, when they pass away at age 90, will people sit around and talk about the players the same way, share stories, and talk about the things that they did on a baseball field or even a football field? I was thinking about sports today. Go through the big three.
Yeah.
Basketball, baseball, football. And tell me if there's any player that has that kind of aura around him that Willie had and others like that. Even go back to more recent times. We're watching Derek Jeter right now on the television in here. Someone who has that kind of aura where everybody who watched him or was around him will have a story to share when someday they pass on.
I think there are many of those people, but we talk about them and we will revere them in a different way, because when you talk about Willie Mays and all of the networks want to show the B-roll footage and you want to recap his highlights, there's only so much footage that's out there. And I'm thinking about some of the people that you were referencing in the big sports, whether it's Michael Jordan or LeBron, whether it's, Kobe Bryant is a great example.
Yep.
When Kobe passed and everybody wanted to rhapsodize and remember Kobe Bryant, we had a ton of footage. Almost every single game he ever played has been captured on tape, and we can see highlights from every game. You could probably go somewhere and see every shot that Kobe Bryant ever attempted in the NBA, and there's a lot of them. So the amount of legend around these players isn't the same, because Willie Mays, even if you were old enough to watch Willie Mays in person, his games weren't all on TV. His games weren't all captured. There was no Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. There weren't these vehicles for everyone to digest and to know everything about them. For example, we know every single thing about LeBron James and his wife and his kids. Yep. We know where his younger son goes to high school, for crying out loud. Willie Mays, I don't know anything about his personal life or his kids unless I look it up, because he was in a different era. So I do think that we will remember and we will eulogize these stars in a big way, but it's in a different way, because even people who are 80 years old and they remember watching Willie Mays play, you don't remember watching Willie Mays on TV,
well, sure,
on MLB Extra Innings. And Steph's a great example. I mean, he's a global icon because he's really good at what he does, but also because you have access to him as a golfer, as a dad, as a humanitarian, and the rest of it. I mean,
maybe this thought is a little prisoner of the moment, I'll admit it, because you watch the NBA Finals that we just experienced, and I'm just like,
Right.
Like, who's grabbing my attention? Boston wins, and everyone's like, who's the MVP? Yeah, I don't even know. Steph and LeBron are examples of what I'm talking about, but they're both, the curtain's fallen now.
Yeah.
The curtain's fallen there, and I don't know. Even like Giannis, Embiid, it doesn't feel the same. Go to baseball. Analytics is driving it. Sure, there's a Bryce Harper, there's an Aaron Judge, maybe. Let's see if that goes that way. NFL, Mahomes absolutely has that.
And Ohtani in baseball, you could put there.
Sure, although Ohtani, I would say, is going to, and he probably will now with the Dodgers, but you're going to need a playoff story. you're going to need to do something here in October.
Sure.
You can't just stop in September every year. And then
that's the Mike Trout effect.
You can't.
Yeah.
And look what's happened. I think Mike Trout is largely like this great player who's going to go down as, but then he got leg injuries and none of us ever really knew him ever again. Like that's what Mike feels like right now. Like it just kind of dissipated. There's no great October moments from Mike Trout. So Shohei's going to need those, but it's not a bad example at all. Yeah, maybe it's a prisoner of the moment thing, but I was just thinking about listening to the way people talked about this legend and the way it makes people feel different than just, wow, that guy's good at sports.
Sure.
And I maybe it will. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, maybe it won't too.
But it feels like the data, the info, the robotic nature of all of it is taking away from that.
Yes, and I also think the player movement and also the fact that now, and we talked during the handoff thingy, the crossover, about the European Soccer Championships. We now have the ability to watch European soccer almost every single day of the week, and we watch golf, and we watch the WNBA. I watch the LPGA. We watch cornhole. I watch competitive tag. There's a lot more that's available to the sports, person. The Olympics are coming up, and all that's going to be on TV. So now, even if you're a sports fan, your audience fragmentation is a lot greater than when it was when Willie was around. When Willie was playing, the NBA, that might have been even pre-George Mikan. The NBA was a tiny little league, and the NFL was a regional product, and baseball was it. It was baseball, horse racing, and boxing. And even at that, most of it wasn't on TV. And now, baseball. You love it. I love it. Most of the people listening to us love baseball, but the audiences aren't quite as big as they used to be for any of this stuff.
It's one of the first things they taught me when I was learning the game of basketball was the Mikan drill.
Oh, yeah.
The Mikan drill, which basically was just like right hand layup, rebound it with your left hand layup.
Yeah.
Rebound it with your right hand layup. Let's go to Richie in Queens on Willard and Dibs. Hi, Richie. What's up? Richie, you there? And scene. Let's go to Rich in Fremont. Hi, Rich. What are you doing?
I'm sitting here finishing up my lunch.
What are you eating?
I got this story about I'm eating Carl's Jr.
Oh,
nice.
Perfect. Working on the figure, huh?
Yeah. Well, hey, man. Hey, you can't say no to that double famous star. Come on.
It's almost Friday, Rich. You're good. Go ahead.
So I got this story about Willie Mays, and even when it happened, it blew me away. I'm in my 20s. I'm working at the Menlo Medical Clinic, okay? And I'm a medical records clerk, all right? And I'm, pushing my cart. I got these records, and I'm pushing down the hall. And also one of the doctors sticks his head out and sees me. Hey, Richard, come here. I got somebody I want you to meet. I'm like, okay. So I walk into his office, and inside the chair I look. Dude, it's Willie. It's Willie Mays.
Oh, man.
It's really freaking Mays. It's standing there, and he's got this amazing grin like he always does. And I'm stunned. I am blown away. The say, hey, kid. I'm looking at him. So then the doctor goes, hey, Rich, stand over there next to him. Take a picture with him. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. Okay. So I walk over next to him, and we're standing together, and we're arm in arm, and we're looking at each other, and we're smiling. The doctor snaps the picture, and I just gave him a big hug. I told him, I said, I am an enormous fan. Like that. He said, yeah, but that's because you're an enormous person. And I thought, dude, Willie Mays thinks I'm an enormous person. I was walking on cloud nine for that year after that. Okay?
That's
but that's
good.
The type of guy he was.
Yeah.
He's a stellar man, a stellar guy, and really, you were infectious by his personality when we were around him. I enjoyed that. And listen, guys, thanks for taking my call.
Rich, thank you.
Right on, Rich.
Appreciate that.
Great to meet you last weekend at the Fremont Bank grand opening. Got a good, healthy dose of Rich. It's awesome.
Love that. 415, Mookie Betts, to me, has the Mays aura. His height being slighter in stature makes him more magical with what he can do on a baseball field. Mookie Betts, and we've had this conversation, you like to make fun of me for it. Mookie Betts, to me, is the most likable Dodger, I think, of all time. Honestly. I still hate him.
Yeah.
But only because of the uniform he's wearing. I find him to be one of the most likable and watchable Dodgers
he's
of all.
incredible.
He's just an incredible player. But to put him in a sentence that includes Willie Mays, like you just said it, I don't think Mookie Betts is the most recognizable player on his own team.
Right.
So
right.
like eulogizing Mookie Betts one day, are we going to get a full board of calls if we were in LA for 4 days talking about the time that Mookie Betts and then fill in the blank? No.
The chef. I would put the chef on that level.
That's what I mean.
Steph Curry. Yeah.
Steph, LeBron, Patrick Mahomes, maybe in baseball.
I mean, Tom Brady?
Brady, yes, but now retired.
Right.
Aaron Judge? Maybe.
The Mookie Betts one's interesting. Yesterday, I ran down the Willie Mays accomplishment, 3,000 or more hits, 300 or more homers, 300 or more steals, and a batting average of 300 or higher. Mookie Betts, 262 homers. He's going to get there. 31 and a half years old. Career average of 295.
Got a shot.
181 stolen bases. At 31, all he has to do is steal, 15 a year for 8 years.
But he's in his 30s and a game that doesn't like to send anybody anymore, but okay.
1,571 hits.
So he's halfway there.
So, I mean, he's only 31. Yeah. If he plays another 9 years, that would be 150 hits a year.
He ain't getting any more hits in July. I know that.
Good point with the broken hand, fractured hand. But anyway, just putting into perspective what Willie did in those categories, it's unbelievably difficult.
Well, that's part of what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Analytics is a stat stealer. Now, maybe that doesn't matter to you, but analytics is you give up stats in favor of the team. No pitcher's getting 20 wins anymore.
No.
You're just not getting them. You don't pitch past the 5th or the 6th inning. There's too many outs to get still. So there's no more 300 wins in pitching. Give me a break.
Without injury, Trout probably would have gotten there.
Probably.
He's hitting 299. He's got 378 bombs, 1,648 hits, and 212 steals.
Yeah, he would have gotten there.
He was trending.
He would have gotten there. But he's probably going to come short on hits now.
Right.
And potentially steals,
too, yeah.
Nobody wants him running anywhere anymore.
Seriously.
Just run to the
dugout.
dugout.
Stand there and swing.
Yeah.